Light of mindfulness. Have you ever felt like a person lost in the dark night, drifting in a vast ocean with no shore in sight, and in your hands, not even a single lamp to guide the way? In that moment, you panic. Your heart beats fast, your eyes see nothing but thick darkness, and waves of fear crash against your mind. That is the image of a life without mindfulness. When the mind is not illuminated by awareness, we live like sleepwalkers, swept away by worries, fears, desires, and delusions. The Buddha taught, with mindfulness, the mind abides in the present. Mindfulness is the path to liberation. This simple yet profound truth is like an eternal lighthouse, guiding those who drift aimlessly in the ocean of life. We often believe life is controlled by external things: work, money, fame, relationships. But if you reflect deeply, you will see that it is the restless mind itself that causes the greatest suffering. You may sit quietly in a peaceful room, yet the mind wanders to past regrets or worries about the future. A careless word from someone can trouble you for days. An uncertain promise about tomorrow can keep you awake at night. That mind, without mindfulness to guide it, becomes a shaky boat, tilting between past and future, never resting in the present. Mindfulness is the power that brings the boat of the mind safely back to shore. This very moment, here and now. When you take a deep breath, feel the cool air entering your body, then exhale gently, letting go with awareness. You have already touched mindfulness. No need to search far away. No need for magic. Just one mindful breath is enough to step out of darkness into the light. Imagine walking along a tree-lined path. If your mind is full of worries, you won't see the green of the leaves, you won't hear the birds singing, you won't feel the breeze. But if you walk with mindfulness, each step becomes poetry, each breath becomes music. Life is no longer a burden to endure, but a journey to be fully lived. That is the power of mindfulness, to transform the ordinary into extraordinary, to turn small moments into gateways of deep peace. The real danger is not outer events, but when we allow our mind to be swept away without even noticing. A person without mindfulness may live a lifetime like a sleepwalker, eating without knowing they are eating, speaking without knowing they are speaking, walking without knowing they are walking. So many chances to love, so many moments of happiness slip through the fingers, leaving only regret when we look back. The Buddha compared such a life to one who sleeps through existence, alive, but not truly living. And yet, the light of mindfulness is always there, waiting for us to return. It is like the sun hidden behind clouds, never gone, and when the wind blows the clouds away, the light shines everywhere. Have you noticed? When we pause, breathe deeply, and release the whirlpool of thoughts, a sense of peace immediately arises. That is mindfulness shining. It is not forced, not complicated, not prepared. Just a simple return, and you see it. In the ocean of suffering, mindfulness is the lighthouse. A wise captain will never let his ship drift aimlessly, but always looks to the light for direction. So too, a mindful person does not let worries control them, does not let greed, anger, and ignorance bind them. In every moment, they know clearly what they are doing, what they are thinking, what they are saying. This clarity leads them out of darkness and step by step into freedom and liberation. The miracle of mindfulness is this: it is not only for monks in monasteries, but for anyone, in any circumstance. You can practice mindfulness while drinking a cup of tea, listening to your child, folding clothes, or even waiting at a red light. Never underestimate these moments, for they are the foundation of a solid life. A person who lives with mindfulness finds every day precious, every small act a chance to nourish peace. Why is it so hard to keep mindfulness? Because the mind is used to running back to the past to complain, running ahead to the future to worry. This cycle repeats day after day until we forget we are alive. That is why mindfulness is training, an art to be practiced daily. Like muscles that must be exercised to grow strong, mindfulness must be nurtured with each breath, each step, each small act of attention. Once you have tasted mindfulness, you will never want to return to the unconscious life. Like one who has seen the light of the lighthouse will never again fear the dark sea. When you live with mindfulness, you realize happiness was never absent. It was always here, in every present moment of your life. And then you understand the Buddha's words. Mindfulness is the source of true peace. Power of mindfulness. When people hear about mindfulness, many think it simply means concentration, the ability to focus on one task. But in the Buddha's teaching, mindfulness goes far beyond that. It is not only concentration of the mind, but a living energy of awareness, a deep presence that allows us to see clearly the true nature of things and opens the path of wisdom and liberation. A mindful person not only knows they are breathing, walking, or speaking, but also perceives the subtle movements of the mind, recognizing the seeds of suffering, happiness, love, and anger at the very moment they arise. The Buddha once taught, "The mindful person is not led away by delusion." This simple sentence reveals a profound truth. Delusion is like dark clouds covering the sky, hiding the light of reality. When the mind is controlled by delusion, we see everything through the distorted lens of afflictions. With anger, everyone looks blameworthy. With greed, everything seems worth clinging to. With fear, the whole world feels dangerous. But with mindfulness, we are like a person holding a clear mirror, reflecting things just as they are, without exaggeration, without denial, untouched by the stains of craving and ignorance. Mindfulness is the key that opens the door to wisdom. When we are fully present with reality, we see the causes of suffering. We see the arising and passing of all phenomena, and wisdom naturally blooms. The wisdom of impermanence, of selflessness, of interdependence. For example, when anger arises, a person without mindfulness is immediately possessed by it, speaking harsh words or acting recklessly. But a mindful person responds differently. They recognize, this is anger arising in me. That simple recognition makes the anger weaken, like a flame running out of fuel. This awareness itself is wisdom, because it prevents us from identifying with the anger and helps us see it clearly as just a passing mental event, something that comes and goes. A mindful life is like carrying a torch through a dark forest. One can see where the thorns are and avoid them, see where the safe paths lie and walk with ease. Thus, mindfulness protects us from harm, keeps us from losing our way, and gently guides us toward peace. It frees us from the whirlpool of ignorance, from the restless chasing of desires and fears. Mindfulness brings us back to the simple but profound truth. The present moment is all we ever truly have. There is a truth few people realize. Most of our suffering comes from not being able to rest in the present. When we dwell in the past, we carry regret and resentment. When we obsess about the future, we drown in anxiety and fear. Only by stopping in the present can we touch the beauty of life as it is. A blooming flower, a bird song, a fresh breeze. All these can only be experienced when we are truly present, and mindfulness is the doorway to that presence. The Buddha gave a beautiful image. Mindfulness is like a lighthouse in the night sea. That sea is ignorance, affliction, and the storms of human sorrow. The lighthouse is the light of awareness. When it shines, the darkness naturally disappears. The deeper meaning is this: mindfulness is not foreign to us. It is the inner lamp already within each person. All we need to do is kindle it, and its light will spread everywhere. Each mindful breath is already a step into peace. This is not a metaphor, but an actual experience. When you breathe in, fully aware you are breathing in, and breathe out, fully aware you are breathing out, your mind returns home, your body relaxes, and restless thoughts fall silent. In that moment, you are no longer dragged by past or future. You are truly alive. That life is full of peace. This is the miracle of mindfulness. It brings us back to true living, instead of losing ourselves in illusion. Through mindfulness, we also discover that true happiness does not come from getting more, but from the ability to feel enough and live each moment deeply. The mindful person, when eating a simple meal, sees that every grain of rice is the gift of rain and sun, the labor of the farmer, and the generosity of the earth. To eat in mindfulness is to eat with gratitude, and gratitude turns the meal into a miracle. A mindful person, sitting with loved ones, listens with full attention, without letting phones or worries intrude. This nurtures love and deepens the bond of relationships. True happiness is simple like that, but often lost, only because we lack mindfulness. Mindfulness is not just for the meditation cushion. It must be present in every circumstance. If you are mindful only in meditation, but lose it when you return to daily life, that is not complete mindfulness. True mindfulness means being present in small acts. Washing a cup, folding clothes, walking down the street, or even feeling sadness or anger while still knowing, this is a feeling that is here. Whoever keeps the lamp of mindfulness lit in all actions will never lose their way. The deepest meaning of mindfulness is that it brings us to freedom. Freedom does not mean doing whatever we want, but being free from the domination of afflictions. With mindfulness, we are no longer slaves to habit, no longer pushed by outer pressures, no longer swept away by greed, anger, or ignorance. We have the freedom to choose how to respond, the freedom to live in peace, and that freedom is the foundation of liberation. Thus, mindfulness is not just another practice, it is the very breath of awakening. It allows us to see reality deeply, to understand impermanence and non-self, and thereby free ourselves from the endless cycle of suffering. Whoever lives in mindfulness has already stepped onto the path of awakening. For every mindful step is a step closer to nirvana. Mindfulness in daily life. Mindfulness is not an abstract concept meant only for monks and monasteries. It is the breath of life, a living awareness that can be practiced in every moment of daily life. If someone thinks mindfulness exists only on the meditation cushion, then they have only touched its outer shell. The Buddha often emphasized, mindfulness is not limited by form, but must flow into every action. Walking, standing, sitting, lying down, eating, speaking, and working. That is why mindfulness is truly an art of living, not just a meditation technique. In the Satipatthana Sutta, the Buddha taught, the practitioner dwells contemplating the body in the body, ardent, fully aware, mindful, having put away craving and distress for the world. This means we must be present in every movement of the body, knowing we are walking, standing, or breathing, so the mind is not dragged into desire or distraction. The story of Venerable Ananda illustrates this clearly. Although he was the Buddha's close attendant, his mind sometimes became scattered by daily duties. The Buddha reminded him, when walking, simply know you are walking. When standing, simply know you are standing. One mindful step is already a step toward liberation. From then on, Ananda walked calmly and without haste, turning each step into meditation. This story teaches us that even a great disciple needed mindfulness each moment. How much more so for us, living in the chaos of modern life, who must all the more protect our awareness from being swept away. Applying mindfulness in life is not distant or difficult. You can begin right in a simple meal. A mindful person eats with gratitude, seeing each grain of rice as the gift of rain and sunshine, the labor of the farmer, and the generosity of the earth. In the Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha told of a young novice who often ate hurriedly, not paying attention to each bite. One day the Buddha said, when your mind runs everywhere while eating, you are not truly eating. But when you eat with mindfulness, you are nourishing body and mind in peace. From then on, that novice changed, making each meal into meditation, and his mind became calm and clear. The lesson for us is simple. We don't need complex rituals. Just breathing and eating mindfully allows us to taste happiness in the most ordinary things. Mindfulness is also a shield in moments of crisis. A famous story tells of Angulimala, a fearsome killer who cut off nearly 1,000 lives, wearing a garland of their fingers. When he met the Buddha, he chased after him with intent to kill. But strangely, though the Buddha only walked calmly, Angulimala could not catch up. Exhausted, he shouted, "Monk, stop!" The Buddha turned and replied, "I have already stopped long ago. It is you who have not stopped." Those words pierced Angulimala's heart. For the first time, he saw that his whole life, he had never once stopped to look into his own mind, never lived in mindfulness. That awakening changed him. He threw down his weapon, took refuge in the Buddha, and later became a monk who attained arahantship. His story teaches us, mindfulness is the power to stop running in anger, greed, and delusion. Only when we stop can we see the path. If we keep running blindly, we only spread more suffering. In modern life, the practice of mindfulness is more essential than ever. Think of a morning drive to work. If your mind is anxious about the meeting ahead or frustrated by traffic, the whole journey becomes stress and fatigue. But if you breathe gently and realize, I am alive right now, I can hear birds, I can see sunlight, then suddenly everything looks different. The road is no longer a battlefield against cars, but a place to practice returning to yourself. That is the true application of mindfulness, turning even unpleasant conditions into opportunities for practice. Mindfulness also transforms the way we speak and listen. Many relationships break because one careless word or because we were not truly present in conversation. The Buddha once told Venerable Sariputta, "Speak words of mindfulness, as if pouring cool water for the thirsty." This shows mindful speech can heal and bring happiness, while unmindful speech wounds and divides. When we listen with mindfulness, we do not only hear with our ears but with our hearts. We can sense the suffering of the other person, and compassion naturally arises. This is a practice everyone needs, especially in families, friendships, and workplaces. Mindfulness can also carry us through moments of unbearable pain. There is a story of a monk who was gravely ill, tormented by constant suffering. His fellow monks pitied him, but did not know how to help. The Buddha visited and gently advised him, "Place your mind on the breath. Recognize the pain as it is. Do not resist, and do not give up." The monk followed the instruction, and something remarkable happened. Though the pain remained in his body, his mind no longer suffered. Mindfulness had given him strength to embrace and transform the pain. This story confirms, mindfulness does not erase suffering, but it gives us wisdom and resilience to hold and transform it. So, practicing mindfulness is not distant. It begins with small acts. Walking more slowly to feel your steps. Breathing deeply when the mind is restless. Smiling as you listen to a loved one. Or simply sitting quietly a few minutes each day to return to yourself. Small actions, repeated often, are like drops of water filling a vast ocean. Over time, they nurture a mind that is steady and peaceful. Looking back at these stories, we see one common thread. Whether Ananda, Angulimala, or a sick monk, all found transformation through mindfulness. This shows mindfulness does not choose people. It does not distinguish rich from poor, high from low, wise from unwise. Whoever practices it will taste its fruit, and that fruit is peace, a true happiness no outer condition can provide. Peace through mindfulness. When a person begins to practice mindfulness, the result is not an immediate miracle, but like a seed planted in the soil, germinating day by day, growing and blossoming. At first, it is just short moments when we suddenly realize we are breathing, walking, or alive. Gradually, these moments grow longer and more continuous until mindfulness becomes a constant flow throughout our lives. Then peace is no longer something far away, but present in every breath and every moment. The Buddha said, "Whoever keeps mindfulness dwells in true happiness." This teaching affirms that happiness is not something given by others, but something we nurture ourselves with the lamp of awareness in our own hearts. There is a story in the scriptures. One time, the monks asked the Buddha, "Blessed One, why do some on the path of practice feel heavy and burdened, while others walk lightly and joyfully?" The Buddha answered, "Those without mindfulness walk as if carrying a heavy load. Those with mindfulness walk as if they have put the load down." This teaching, though simple, contains a deep truth. On the same journey, a mindful person feels light, while one without mindfulness feels weighed down. Mindfulness is the key factor that makes the difference between suffering and peace. When mindfulness grows strong, we realize a profound truth. Even suffering can become a path. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha taught, "The wise see suffering in order to end suffering." With mindfulness, we neither run away from pain nor let it drown us. Instead, we look deeply into its nature. We see clearly that suffering arises from craving, anger, ignorance, and attachment. In that very moment, we already have the chance to let go. Just as a doctor, knowing the cause of disease, can make treatment easier, mindfulness is the doctor of the heart, helping us recognize and transform pain. There was once a monk who told the Buddha, "I have practiced for many years, yet my mind is still full of afflictions. I have not found peace." The Buddha gently said, "If you keep mindfulness in each breath and each step, then peace is already here. It is not a promise of some distant future." The monk returned and practiced diligently. In time, his heart became light and peaceful. This story reminds us, peace is not promised for tomorrow. It is here, right now, if only we return to mindfulness. In today's world, many seek healing in countless ways, through travel, shopping, entertainment, or drowning in pleasures. But all of these are only temporary, because suffering lies in the mind, not outside. Only mindfulness can heal at the root. A person who lives with mindfulness, even in the noisy marketplace, can still remain at peace. When difficulties arise, they do not get swept away, but know how to pause, breathe, and smile. That peace cannot be shaken because it is built from within. With long practice, mindfulness also brings wisdom. We see that everything is impermanent. Joy and sorrow, gain and loss, rise and fall. Seeing impermanence, we stop clinging. We do not despair in loss, and we are not intoxicated in success. We live balanced, calm, and free. That is the true happiness the Buddha wanted to give. One of the highest fruits of mindfulness is liberation. Liberation is not only a distant philosophy, but freedom in each moment of mindfulness. With mindfulness, we are freed from the cycle of habits, freed from negative thoughts, freed from slavery to greed, anger, and ignorance. This freedom opens the heart wide, allowing compassion and wisdom to shine. It is a step toward nirvana. Once, Venerable Sariputta was asked, "Why are you always calm, unmoved by any hardship?" He smiled and replied, "Because I always keep the lamp of mindfulness. When the lamp is lit, darkness cannot enter." His answer was the essence of a lifetime of practice, and also a reminder for us all. If we want peace, we must light the lamp of mindfulness within. And dear friend, you don't need to wait for a distant day. Right now, as you hear these words, take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. Do you feel peace spreading in your heart? That is mindfulness already present. If you nurture it every day, you will see life transform in wonderful ways. No longer chasing the shadows of the past, no longer trembling before the future. You will rest fully in the present, where true happiness has always been. Mindfulness is the source of peace, and that peace is not only for you, but radiates to everyone around you. When you live mindfully, your words are gentle, your actions are kind, and your presence itself is a gift. Thus, mindfulness not only frees the individual, but also opens the door for communities to come closer to harmony and happiness. Dear friend, the journey of practicing mindfulness is the journey of returning to yourself, returning to the peace already within your heart. Remember, each breath, each step, each smile can be mindfulness when we are fully present. If this sharing has brought you peace or inspired a new reflection, please like to spread positive energy. Comment your feelings below and subscribe to Buddha's loving words so together we can plant seeds of mindfulness each day. Your presence and interaction are the motivation for us to continue creating meaningful content.
From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for supporting Buddha's loving words. May the teachings of the Buddha continue to touch every heart, bringing peace, and happiness.